Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. This is a day we've really been looking forward to here at the Giants and in Major League Baseball. This is the third World Baseball Classic, and the Giants are absolutely thrilled to be part of this international event. We have applied for it each time for the finals, each year that it's come up. It's something that we think is a great honor, and it's something that we think is a great fit for our community to be the host for this international competition. It's become really in a short period of time since it was instituted, really one of the crown jewel events in all of sports, international sports. It's an opportunity to highlight the global reach of our game and celebrate the culture and the cultures and nations that participate in the tournament. As you know, we take great pride here in San Francisco being a very international city. And as much as possible, we like to reflect the diversity of our community with our baseball teams. And you'll hear more about this in a little bit, but in San Francisco, we were proud to have the first Japanese player back in 1965, Masanori Murakami. And we've always had a very strong Latin influence on the Giants, going back to the days in the 60s, and one of our guests here was part of it. We had an outfield that was comprised of three Alou brothers for a game or two, Felipe, Matty, and Jesus, and of course Juan Marichal, and the tremendous Dominican players who played for the Giants. Take it to the present day, we have many of our stars are from international players. From Venezuela, we have Pablo Sandoval and Marco Scudero. So it's something that we've tried to reflect in our team, and we're very proud that we can bring a tournament like this next March to San Francisco, given that who we are. As you know, that of the 3 million fans that come to the games here, we like to have heritage nights and reflect the different cultures. And we've had Irish Heritage Night, Chinese Heritage Night, Festa Gigante. Giants wear Gigante uniforms, Korean Heritage Night, etc. So we take great pride in believing that this is a great fit for the San Francisco Giants hosting this event. We believe that our 29,000 full season ticket holders and the Giants fans at large will see this as an opportunity to pack the house for some very exciting baseball in March, and we are going to be reaching out to them. We'll give some information on that a little bit later, but we'll be reaching out to them immediately to begin that process, selling tickets. We'll have a little bit more, we'll talk a little bit more in a minute with representatives from Major League Baseball and the Players Association. As you know, this is a joint venture between the clubs, the 30 clubs, and the Commissioner's Office and the Players Association on this. And it's one of the collaborations as representing the Giants and owners meetings. This is one of the many collaborations over the last decade between the players and owners that has really signaled a very strong era of cooperation between players and owners and management. And it's World Baseball Classic, I think, is really a model for sports leagues in terms of how the players and owners can work together to grow interest in the game. And for that, here at the Giants, we're very proud that that's happening. So we'll be here in San Francisco in March of next year, and we are very proud to have with us today the wonderful Mayor of San Francisco, Edwin Lee, to welcome everybody to San Francisco. Mayor Lee.
Thank you, Larry, and everybody welcome to McCovey Cove, to across the street from, across the water actually, from our AT&T Park. And I was really happy, not just because the weather came out today, not just because we're here with the Giants and with their franchise and their team players, the Players Association and Major League Baseball. But we wanted to give you a chance to see what the stadium looks like when it's empty. Because we never get that feeling. We're always down here when it's so crowded, so filled, and it's going to be that way, of course. Every night there's a game, and every day there's a game here. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Giants again for their wonderful accomplishment. My clothes are still in the dryer from the champagne Saturday night, and I'm glad to have been a victim of Pam and Larry's enthusiasm that night, along with the other players. At the same time, we are a world-class city, and this event for the World Baseball Classic to be held here is extremely exciting. And it reflects the international flavor of our city in so many ways. And you can see all the different flags here that are represented because this World Baseball Classic is an international event. It's been held in many parts of the world already, and we're so happy it's coming here. And I want to remind everybody, not just because it's baseball, but in Japan in 2009, when it was held there, that venue had economic impact of over $110 million to that local economy over that 3-day period. It caused some 800,000 fans and visitors to go there on that 3 days. And we expect every day here the stadium will be sold out for these events. And so we're expecting that same kind of economic impact. It's invaluable to our city. It's what we do well. It's timed perfectly. And so I've already made an agreement with Larry that the weather will be as today. Of course, we'll have to exchange that with some additional ring that sparkles, with a 2012 name there. And we are excited because it's also at a time when usually the stadium is underutilized. It's not the hot season, but we're glad to entertain these kinds of events. It's really perfect for our city, perfect for Major League Baseball and for the Players Association to come together with our franchises here. And it's just very apropos. And I also want to congratulate our Giants third baseman coach, Roberto Kelly, who's going to be coaching the Team Panama as they unfurl in the other parts. I know Miami and Phoenix are going to be in play along with San Francisco as we lead up to the finals. So on behalf of the city of San Francisco, to really welcome and thank the Players Association, Major League Baseball, the Giants, for choosing San Francisco on this really important, very, very exciting event that will happen in March of next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. A gentleman that I get to see at least once a quarter at Major League Baseball meetings, person who spearheads baseball's international operations, business operations, and he's also president of the World Baseball Classic, behind the two very successful first World Baseball Classics over the past decade. Paul Archie. Paul.
Thank you, Larry. I just want to make sure before I start I got this correct, that you guys guaranteed both the weather and a full stadium. Is that what I heard? So it's on. It's on record. No, I do want to thank both these gentlemen to my right and the city of San Francisco and the Giants organization for their efforts in bringing the World Baseball Classic finals here. Clearly, San Francisco is a first-class international city, but it's also a first-class baseball city, and we couldn't be more excited about bringing it here. It was, there was a lot of interest from other cities in hosting pools as well as the finals, a lot of competition, but San Francisco really stood out with both not only their effort but their passion to bring this event here. Larry mentioned, we've had two World Baseball Classics, 2006 and 2009, but quickly it's become the premier international baseball tournament for sure. And in just two events, we've had over 1.5 million spectators attend World Baseball Classic games. We had a record of nearly 55,000 at that final game in Dodger Stadium last year, between Japan and Korea attend that game. But we also set record television ratings around the world. We've had over 50 global sponsors be a part of these games. But most importantly, this tournament was established to help grow the game and give baseball a bigger platform to grow the game globally. It's been able to generate over $20 million that go to federations around the world to help grow the game. And most recently, the biggest change we made in the event to help facilitate this development was the addition of 12 new teams, expanding the tournament from 16 to 28. And this past weekend, we've had 2 of the qualifiers of 16 teams trying to qualify to make that final 16. In Germany, Canada qualified just yesterday and will be now part of the 16. And Spain defeated Israel 2 days prior in Jupiter, Florida, to be part of that. The remaining 2 qualifiers will be in November. But it's clearly helped us in growing the game and spreading the game to those countries. What I'd like to announce today is get down to some specifics about the tournament. We've already announced previously, as you can see by some of the signage at AT&T Park, but we've already announced the U.S. venues, first round pool being in Phoenix, a second round pool being in Miami, and of course the championships here. But what I'd like to do today is announce all of the venues and the pools, the pool composition, and who will play in each pool. So if we can, and I think we have here Pool A, as you can see, will be held in Fukuoka, Japan. Including the dates of that will be March 2nd to the 6th. The teams participating in that pool will be the 2-time champion Japan national team, Cuba, China, and then one of the qualifying teams yet to be determined. We will determine which qualifiers once all 4 have been established. Obviously, a very strong pool with the 2-time champion and Cuba playing in that pool. Second, Pool B will be in Taichung, Taiwan, March 2nd through the 5th, with Korea, the Netherlands, Australia, and again, I hope the wind's blow. I don't know if you're a hitter, you want the wind blowing out, right? A pitcher blowing in but clearly another strong pool with particularly Korea being the #1 seed there. Pool C in Puerto Rico at Ron Bithorn Stadium. This will be the 3rd time that we've played pools in San Juan in Ron Bithorn Stadium, March 7th through the 10th. The teams there will be Venezuela, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and again a qualifier to be named. A lot of Latin pride in that pool, and also very competitive. Finally, Pool D, which will be in Phoenix, Arizona, at Chase Field, will be the United States, Mexico, Italy, and again one of the qualifiers. A very similar set of teams that played in Toronto in 2009 in the opening round, and one of the really highlights of 2009 is when we had 45,000 people watch the USA Canada game, which went down to the last at bat, the last out. So again, another competitive pool. The format of the pool. Well, before I go into the format, just quickly, the pools were really comprised of, in each pool, you have a #1, 2, and 3 seeded team based on their 2009 performance. We really tried to get both balance, competitive balance, with fan interest and regional interest. But as you can see, if you look at the pool, Japan, Korea, Venezuela, United States, all being #1 seeds, were the final 4 teams in 2009. The 2 and 3 seeds depended on how many games they won in their respective pool. The format is a little different this year, a tweak. We've kind of combined 2006 and 2009, where in 2006 was pool play, 2009 was double elimination. We've kind of combined the 2. First round pools, these pools will be pool play. Each team will play every team in the pool. Top 2 teams advance. You get to the second round venues, which will be Miami and Tokyo Dome, where you will have a double elimination format. Again, top 2 teams will advance to the Final 4, but a double elimination format, which features, when you get down to the Final 8, you will have some loser go home type scenarios, just as we had in the qualifier. The top two teams in each pool will advance here to San Francisco for a 1-game, a semifinal and final, winner advance, loser go home format. So 3 games here in San Francisco. I did mention, I just go over it again, the second round games being in Asia, in Tokyo. The teams that will advance to Tokyo will be from Pool A and Pool B. The teams that would advance to Miami will be from Pool C and Pool D, the top 2 teams in each pool. So with that, that's kind of all the details of and the specifics of the tournament. At this point, I'd like to introduce Tim Slavin. He's a senior executive with the Major League Baseball Players Association, to talk to you just briefly about tickets and about player participation.
Thanks, Paul. And thanks also to the city of San Francisco and to the San Francisco Giants and to all of you here. This is obviously an exciting time for us, and we couldn't be happier to be here on this beautiful day and looking forward to being here next spring. As Paul mentioned, I've been asked to do a couple things, filling it on top of what he's already mentioned about specifics. One is the ticketing. Strips of tickets will be available on December 3rd to cover each of the 6 games. In addition, on that same day, rosters will be announced. 28-man rosters will be announced at the winter meetings. As many of you know, players participate in the World Baseball Classic voluntarily, and we have had terrific interest from players throughout our history. Some facts about player participation in 2006 and 2009. More than 100 Major League Baseball All-Stars have played in the WBC to date. 14 of them were MVPs. When you include the MPB and the KBO, we have hosted over 30 MVPs from only those 3 leagues from around the world. The players know this, and that's part of why their interest in the tournament continues to grow. In fact, in a survey of all the Major League Baseball players that we've conducted over the course of this year, the results were tremendous in connection with the players' desire to participate. We've confirmed that so many are eager to play and would be honored to represent their country. But you obviously don't need to hear that from me. You should hear that from the players themselves. We're fortunate to have here with us 2 all-star caliber players, Ryan Vogelsong and Miguel Montero. We've asked them to say a few words about the tournament, about players' anticipation for the tournament generally, and any personal views about what representing their country means to them. These players will just say a few words, but they'll be available afterwards as well for one-on-one for any questions. So with that, I'll step aside, and Ryan, if you have a minute, come on up.
Good afternoon. I was pretty excited when they asked me to come out here today and talk about the WBC a little bit. I obviously have some international playing experience. 2 years in winter ball in Venezuela and 3 years in Japan. And what a great experience and how it ties into the WBC. In 2009, I was in Japan when the WBC was going on, and I got to see how another country cheered for their team and watched the tournament go on. And it was just like it was in 2006 when I was here playing in the States still, and I saw how our country cheered for our team. And what an amazing tournament for people to be able to support their country like that, and in this kind of with the kind of professional players that are going to be in the tournament, the best players in the world. And what a great place to have it here in San Francisco. I'm very fortunate to be able to play in this amazing stadium pretty much on a nightly basis in front of a great crowd. They fill this place every night, and they're very baseball intelligent, and they're very into the game, and I don't see any reason why it won't be like that here in March. And just from a player's side, it is part of us as players, our responsibility to help promote this game and to inspire the youth of the country to keep playing baseball and to want to be professional baseball players. And the WBC definitely allows us to do that, and allows us to have a special experience with putting on the uniform of our country. We obviously have a great deal of pride to play for our cities on a yearly basis and try and win the World Series, but there's definitely something that goes along with putting your country's uniform on and trying to win the championship in this tournament and have the bragging rights as the best team in the world for the next 4 years until the next one. So me personally, I I am very excited about what's going on here with this, and I hope to be a part of the USA team. If I don't, I'll try and get it again the next time around, but I hope to be there, and I hope to face this guy in the finals, and just what a great thing we have going here with the WBC. Thank you.
I'm gonna pull it down. You're too tall, man. Good afternoon, yeah. And for me, it's you know, I always was a big fan of soccer, and I always watch the World Cup soccer, and I always thought myself, I'm like, what is he? It's not a World Cup baseball, you know, and you know, right now it's just a great opportunity, and it's a great event, and I think it's something special, and for all of us as a player, we want to participate on it, and we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll be part of that, and I'll be facing you then.
Thanks, Miguel. Thanks, Vogie and Miguel. I just want to highlight how the player cooperation. I know we had some games at Scottsdale Stadium in the past, and we had an exhibition game where the U.S. national team played the Giants, and it's an amazing camaraderie that you see with the fans and the players, and it really all starts with the players. In fact, where we are right here, we have little stanchions of highlighting every Giants team since the team moved west, and I just wanted, on behalf of the Giants, salute the players and their involvement. And Miguel and Ryan and Tim and Tony Clark, because without them we would obviously not have the event, and their enthusiasm and growing enthusiasm as we go into year 3 of the tournament is really quite something, and it's going to bode for, I think, 2013 being an amazing tournament. Right now, I'd like to introduce the president of the International Baseball Federation, which officially sanctions the World Baseball Classic. So it's a very important body for us as we go forward into the tournament, and that is Ricardo Fricari, president of the IBAF. Ricardo.
Thank you, Larry. I'm very happy to be here on behalf of the International Baseball Federation, and I would like to thank MLB for their support. My presence here is a reflection of the new relationship between our organization and the new spirit of collaboration and mutual interest. The Baseball International Federation has officially sanctioned the World Baseball Classic since its launch in 2006. Today, I am pleased to announce that World Baseball Classic will be now recognized by the IBF as the National Team World Baseball Cup. In a relatively short period, the World Baseball Classic has successfully been established as a preeminent baseball showcase. The implementation of the 4 qualifiers and expanding the fields to involve 28 teams, 28 different countries, including all 5 different continents, is a major advancement for the sport of baseball, and on the international scene will help for sure to drive and develop baseball in new territories. As such, the IBAF Executive Committee voted unanimously to assign the title of World Champion to the winner of the World Baseball Classic, a title that had been reserved for the winner of the IBF Baseball World Cup, which essentially the Classic is now developing into from an invitational tournament. Thank you, Bob.
And finally, it's an honor to introduce somebody who's very special to the Giants organization. You know, the Giants moved to San Francisco from New York in 1958, our first year, and it was this gentleman's first year in a Giants uniform, his rookie year, 1958. He then went on to play on the 1962 pennant-winning Giants team. Hall of Fame managerial career, finishing his managerial career from 2003 to 2006, where he began in Major League Baseball with the Giants as our manager. 100-win season in his first division-winning season in his first year managing the Giants in 2003. And since then, he's been special assistant to our general manager, Brian Sabian. He also served as the manager of the Dominican Republic's WBC team in 2009. A very, very special person in our organization. Really a legend in the game of baseball, Mr. Felipe Alou.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Larry, and for having me here today. I have to say that WBC sign looked pretty there. It looked prettier there, and it also makes our beautiful stadium look prettier. I want to thank the two players that are here today with us, Miguel Montero, the Diamondbacks, and Ryan Vogelson with the Giants. It's a special time when players start getting in uniform and getting ready for a ball game tonight. We really appreciate you two guys contributing to WBC. I am a person that I'm 100% for the World Classic. Not because I managed the Dominican team. I was for it the time before, and I am 100% for it for next year. My son Moises was a player, the first Classic, and he was a player in the last Classic. The sad thing is that Moises made the last out of the last Classic. He was out of shape. He was hurt. And I look around, we were losing by 1 run with a runner at second base. And I brought him into pinch hit, and he had a real bad at bat. And I believe that it is why Moises is going to be the general manager of the Dominican team for the next Classic. He wants some kind of a redeemer. My experience was to manage the Dominican team to the last Classic, which is really not the greatest of the experience. We faced the Netherlands Antilles twice, and they beat us twice. They beat us 2 real close ball games, 3-1 and 3-2. And I have to say, they beat us. It was an incredible happening, but it did happen. So it tells you that in this Classic, you cannot give anything for granted. Players have to be prepared. They have to be in the best possible shape. And they got to be ready to play whatever opponent they have to play. So the Netherlands Antilles, we played from Curaçao and from Aruba, and some guys from Europe. They beat us very well. And so that gives a lot of strength to the Classic. After we got defeated the last game, I told my players, I had never seen a clubhouse. I saw people crying in our clubhouse. The Dominican Republic, which is really a power in amateur baseball and also in big league brand of baseball, and any kind of professional baseball, had just been eliminated from the Classic. So I told my guys that there are going to be some more opportunities, and there will be maybe some other opponents, and there will be some other Dominican players participated and represented the country. So I'm looking forward for my son to do a good job as a GM and for the Dominican player to go out again and represent the country. I was recently in Europe. Actually, 3 weeks ago, I was in Europe, specifically in Spain and Italy. And to my surprise, I heard people talking about the Classic. These people didn't know who I was, but I heard people talking about the Classic. So to me, the Classic is something that is catching on big time. with all the parts that are involved in this thing, you know, with the help of all of us, this is going to really be a big event. So I'm pretty sure that the third class is going to be even better than the second class. And Team Japan, and I believe that the two most valuable players were Japanese. I think Matsusaka and Ichiro were the most valuable. So that should serve as an example for our players from this side of the world to participate. So thanks again for having me here, and I'm with this until the end. Thank you very much.
So we're going to ask all of the participants to stand for a photo op, and then they'll be available for one-on-one questions offline. Thank you.